Hello everybody, this is Drak, and today we are bringing a Owlless tutorial, a both triple jump Owlless tutorial and a double jump Owlless tutorial. This tutorial for the Brazilian folks in the audience will be in English because most of the team is made of non-Brazilian players. Okay, not most, sorry, but our community is pretty good with English, pretty comfortable, so most of you will be able to understand what I'm saying while learning Portuguese from scratch as a native English speaker is much harder, so I hope you guys understand that. If you want me to add English subtitles, Portuguese subtitles or anything like that, just tell me and I'll do my best as fast as I can. So let's start. Owlless is a trick based in many things. It has many small details that are really important to keep in mind, and that it really helps you to be able to actually perform it, right? So the first thing, I'm gonna ignore this movement first because the most important part about Owlless is the trick itself. And if you're able to make it quite fast, not even like really clean, but fast enough, you would be able to save about 5 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds, which is quite a bit. So let's start. The first thing that you want to keep in mind is your angle. So as you can see with the angle monitor on the up left there, my angle is between 6'3" and 6'2". These are pretty good angles to aim for. You can enable this going to HUD in the Usamuni menu and going to memory and just enabling the slot 1 option if you're in the most updated version of Usamuni. If you're not, you have to digit the code by hand, and this is the code in question. So how do you do this custom thing, really? I think you can just like press A like that. Yeah, this is like the enabler, like this one is the enabler of the code, and then you can like just change the digits and shit. But yeah, that's the memory display. For the trick, let's do a save state here. Save states are really important for practice purposes. It keeps everything in check and compartmentalized for future revision. So I really do recommend it for you to use it at some point. And let's start. The first thing that really helps with this trick is just starting the triple jump in the middle of the island, because this is gonna give you a very wide area to work with, and yeah, you'll get comfortable with doing triple jumps. If you're like here, you'll have to pay way more attention to where you're stepping, and that makes the trick a whole lot harder. And the angle also gets kind of fucked up, as you can see, because the camera is tilting. The camera is just like way more stable in the center because the platform moves slower at the center, right? So the angle is gonna change slower, which is pretty cool. So yeah, tap your analog stick up like that just to make sure your angle is set in, because if you don't, Mario is gonna keep rotating along with the platform like that. And start the triple jump like that. Try to aim your triple jump about the edge of the platform, but not too much. If you're very on the edge, you have many risks of falling and having a bad spacing, which sucks obviously. So we're gonna stick to being like a little bit more like in this region right here. Kicking is optional, but it does help quite a bit because the spacing is normalized. If you single jump, you kind of have the risk of like jumping too high or jumping too low and fucking everything up. But it's up to you what's more comfortable, what's more consistent. That's not up for me to tell you, okay? Yeah, after doing that triple jump, let me change the save state. You can do that pressing the D-pad right option, and the D-pad left loads the state. So as you can see, now I can't load the save for, because we didn't actually make a save for that. So let's try to do that, okay? And as you can see, my speed is quite low on this triple jump. Let me enable it real quick. I have 26 speed. Usually if you're running, you have like about 31 speed, but in this clip I have 26. And if you keep slowing it down like that, you're gonna make your wall kick to the left much better, because Mario isn't gonna go the other direction like that. Look at how much harder it is if I'm going fast. I just missed the trick entirely. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. If you're trying to go too fast, the trick is just not gonna work. You really need to like actually wait for Mario to slow down. And with that, you also want to hit the wall kick as high as you can for obvious reasons. So if I hit it like this, it's bad, but if I hit it at the peak of the jump, it works perfectly. Same thing with the angle of the cage, so if you go too far left, it's gonna be harder to work with, because the camera is a little bit different. You're just not like completely parallel to the cage like we are in this position. Same thing applies to the left part of the cage like that. So it is really important to keep these three things in mind. Landing at the center of the island, doing the triple jump, not too much on the edge, so the spacing is better. Slowing it down, so in other words, just releasing your stick right before triple jumping, or a little bit before after triple jumping, excuse me. And if you combine that with the wall kick height, the position at the center of the cage, and holding full left right before wall kicking and holding it still, it should work really good. Like so. Okay, so you see that clip, it seemed like it needed to work. It seemed like perfect, but it didn't work. So let me make a save state and explain that for you guys as well. So what's happening here is that Mario is hitting the wall kick quite late, as you can see. Let me do a better save state. 5th frame might be a bit too much to demonstrate. Even though it's possible, it's not like the best example, because it's not realistic. Okay, 3rd frame. This didn't work, for example. See? It doesn't work, even though it seemed like it should. Don't worry, my guy, my sis, this isn't really a problem. Well, it is a little bit, because you have to learn on backup, but it's pretty easy. So you have two options here. The first is to change your analog to up left, like so. So when you see Mario is starting to fall like that, you make like this approximating motion. It's kind of hard to put into words, like it's better just seeing what I'm doing. If I do it like very if I tilt the stick like really robotically like that, it's not gonna work really well, because Mario is not gonna position himself too good. But if you do it slowly, it's like a exponential thing. It's like an explanation formula. I'm not sure if that's how the game actually works, but it works fine for me. So you want to go like woo, it's like ascending. You're like a rocket and shit. You gotta ascend the stick like that. It starts a little bit slow and goes whoop, like that. See how Mario just... You gotta get a feel for this obviously, but as you can see it works very well. And another way that's easier for a lot of people is just tilting the camera like that. So this This is more time-based. This is more fuel-based. The stick approach is more fuel-based. The camera approach is more time-based, so choose it accordingly to your needs. The timing for this is that you want to change the camera a little bit late on the end. As you can see, it's not super late, because if you do that, it's not gonna work. It's like midway through. It's the visual cue that I usually use is that cloud over there. You see that there's like a pterodactyl, kinda, in the clouds right there. You wanna see Mario like getting beneath the pterodactyl, then you just do it like that. I like it. It's a good cue. And if you combine every single thing we said, it's gonna work just fine. So now for getting to the actual island, movement's quite simple. You can do it in many ways. First thing is doing the long jump to the tree, like that. You have mainly two ways to do this. You can either long jump and tilt your stick to the right, like that. Excuse me. To actually hit the tree with a good angle. As you can see, my angle is very much set. You still need to wait for Mario to climb a bit for the angle to adjust, but that's the advantage of doing it like this. But some people don't like it, so you can also do this Mario Cam approach, which you just press R and C down like this, wait for the camera to tilt just a bit, and then you start holding up like so. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Just do whatever you want. I tend to gravitate to the zoomed in camera because I have vision imparities, but you may not have that. It may not be necessary. You may prefer this. Just experiment, you know. And after jump diving here and rollouting, you want to start to jump dive up the hill. You don't want to hold fully up. If you hold fully up, it's gonna cause you a little bit of stress, like that. It can work, but it's kind of dangerous and also not really good for the trick. But if you're so inclined to do so, don't worry, you can also do that. But yeah, the ideal version of this is jump diving close to this edge and kind of like gently tilting the stick to keep Mario in the middle of the slope. It's very subtle. It doesn't need to be a lot, so it's really safe. You can't really mess this up if you're being gentle. Sometimes it does happen with everyone, but just to keep in mind, you know. And if you have trouble, if your controller doesn't have a lot of angles, you can also like tilt fastly, or if you play on keyboard, you can do like this motion. But yeah, after that, if you want to do fence clip, it's quite easy if you know what you're doing, so I'm gonna show it up. After you pass this arrow thing on the ground, you can just press C right, like so, and you see the angle is perfect here. It is very well set. And what this does to us, excuse me, is that this is gonna give us a very good angle to hit the wall and get to the center of the island. So this is why the visual cues are important. And after you see that Mario has gone fully up like this, or like getting to the end of the slope, if you're in the middle, whatever you want to do with the visual cues and shit, you jump dive. Doesn't need to be on the same frame, you can also do it like this. And you just hit the fence. But you want to hit it like more towards the right, like this, because this preserves more speed. What's really happening here is that Mario has an acceleration towards this staircase. If you go up this... esqueci o nome dessa porra. I just forgot the name of this. It's like... handler, stair support, whatever. Stair fence. You just don't want to hit this for too many frames because this is gonna kill your speed. So it gotta be really flush, like just enough, as little as you possibly can. Just hit it like this, and usually it's gonna work. A thing that I really like to do here is just pressing A first and then dive, because I minimize the risk of bonking like this, which is really common. And then after rollouting on the island, you want to see right twice. And that's it. It should work just fine. You can also quick turn on the island to save like 0.3, 0.4 seconds. And the way you do that is that you want to release the stick before Mario lands on the ground, which makes him stationary like that. You just lose all your momentum. And after that, you can tap one direction and go the other, like this. You gotta wait a bit for Mario to actually go to stationary again, because if you don't do that, you're not gonna be able to quick turn. Like this, do you see? If you do it too quickly, you're not gonna quick turn. Yeah, it's weird, it's whack. This code is whack, but let me try to demonstrate to you all how this would look like when you put everything together. This is a pretty bad angle. You're gonna really wanna aim for the middle of the island. Oops. There are some backups on the slope as well, so for example, if you cancel your dive like that, which is a little bit difficult to show off, you can just roll out on the thing and continue as normal. But if you miss the roller, you can also just do the easy approach, that is like jumping like this, and just long jumping, roll out, or even like jump dive, roll out like this. It can work. Another thing that happens a lot is just missing. Oh, this is a bad save to show this, because I'm hitting the edge. Let me show you this real quick. It's this. Sometimes you're not gonna land on the slope. Sometimes this is gonna happen. And you can save this if you react quickly. You just walk a bit. You gotta walk a bit to actually climb the slope, like so. So it's actually easier than it seems. And then you just long jump twice. Or even just one time, actually. No, it's 2 times, sorry. But it's gonna be really early, so the spacing is still fine, like this. See? And if you still miss the jump like this, you can just, like, whatever, improvise, you know? It's not that huge of a mistake for most people. Sometimes you can even do something like this, which is pretty cool. It's kind of a niche backup. You just hold like down left like so. Because this makes Mario slide down the slope earlier. And also jumping there is really beneficial, so actually piano rolling here is good. I don't actually know what's the best approach after this, or if there isn't even there is one. I don't know if that's how you want to say things, whatever. But you can do that. And also there is a last backup, I promise, which is just missing the fence or the double jump. If you miss the double jump because this stair likes to eat your jumps, you can just go here and side flip. Really simple. But sometimes it so happens that like you slide down the hill like this because you tapped the A button too late, like so. Like this. And then you can just like do this and cancel your dive like this. Really clean as well. Doesn't even look like a backup sometimes. Like so. And that is pretty much it for the trick. Double jump Owlless is mostly the same thing. Like the same concepts that we talked through, but there's just two new things to take into consideration. The first is that your spacing here needs to be a little bit better, so you actually want to aim for the very center of the red coin or towards like the left here, and you'd want to do like a half moon shape with the stick. Like this. And when you see that Mario is already fully up, you don't want to wait any longer. You want to immediately start your kick. And it's gotta be an AB kick. It can't be... It can technically be a buffered kick, but it's much harder because you have speed. So you gotta like... release your stick to neutral, so it's just harder for no reason, so I don't really recommend it. And after doing the kick, you just do the same thing that you did with triple jump Owlless, but in a smaller scale. So you release the stick, like so. You want to wait for Mario to go really slowly. Hold the A button all the way in all scenarios. This is quite obvious, but you know, if you didn't figure that out still. And then, in this case, since you're wall kicking so low, you can see that Mario is like adjusting himself to the right of the cage. If you go in the very edge like this, do you see it? It's kind of subtle, but it does happen. So it is actually beneficial to hit the cage in a corner like this. See? It's quite interesting. In this case too, since you're slower, since you have less speed because you're not in a triple jump action, you also want to hit the C left or change the analog stick thing earlier. It's literally after Mario starts to fall. It's like right after. Like so. It takes time. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not the worst thing in the world. If you really like this trick and you want to do it, just do it, you know. And since we were talking about losing speed when we wall kick like this, if you do it in a frame late, like second frame wall kick, you mostly just want to have second and first frame wall kick. Sometimes, if you notice that you're not that high up, and you got a second frame, which you can know by listening to Mario. If you listen like a click sound, it's a second frame. If it's instant, it's the first frame. And also by the speed, Mario is just faster at firsties, like so. Since Mario is slower, he also loses speed slower, so... You wanna do the C left. Actually, it's... Sorry, I actually said some stupid things right now. Second frame loses speed faster. So because of that, you want to press the C left a little bit earlier on the spectrum, you see? While with the first frame I wait a little bit longer. I really wait for Mario to actually slow down like this. When I see that he's actually stationary in the air, I change to C left. Because the height visual cue isn't that good. It can vary. So that's it. That's all there is to it, guys. I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a longer tutorial because there's a lot of movement involved. But I'm sure that Owlless is one of the first tricks that you learn in the game if you're into tricks. And this has a lot of important things that you're gonna use later on for other tricks too. So I hope this can translate to other tutorials that we're gonna tackle in along the road. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching and sticking by, and happy grinding. I'll see you later.